So you're going to wait until you get the diagnosis to start taking care of yourself. Hey there, it's your favorite nurse yogi, Leslie, and today I want to discuss why preventative health is the hack. It actually can save you thousands upon thousands of dollars. If you don't know me and this is your first time clicking on my pretty face, y'all, this is me raw. No makeup, no nothing is done. I got to do my hair after this video. My name is Leslie, and I am your favorite nurse yogi. I am a registered nurse with 12 years of healthcare experience, and I'm also a certified yoga instructor with 5 years of teaching experience. Today, I want to discuss preventative health and also talk about why I became a nurse and how I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful that I listened to my parents. So if you don't know what preventative health is, let's define it. Preventative health is taking care of yourself before you get a diagnosis such as type 2 diabetes, such as high blood pressure, such as hyperlipidemia. I feel like the hyperlipidemia, which is just a fancy way to say high cholesterol and high blood pressure, even type 2 diabetes, those three diagnoses are not taken seriously enough. And what I mean by that is this. Well, my mom had it, my aunties, my uncles had it, my grandpa had it, and they were fine. Were they? Were your aunties, your mom fine? Like, and let's define fine. I should actually look that up right now. Like, fine is just surviving. Don't you want to thrive? Don't you want to thrive? And I don't know when you're watching this video, but at time of recording, it is May 6th, 2026, and I'm actually on day 92 or 93. I never know what day it is, but we're almost done with 100 days straight of me recording 20 to 30 minute YouTube videos. And the sole reason I'm doing this is to give you free health resources, okay? And you've been through a lot. One way or another, I know you've been through a lot. You survived the pandemic, right? And I don't want you to just be fine. And so with that, and it's all part of the reason I created my 12-week preventative healthcare program, is because I don't want you to get the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol. I don't want that for you. All three of those diagnoses that I just listed are completely preventable if you do the following things. Exercise regularly. And I talk about this in my program. Everybody is different when it comes to their exercise routine. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And you're going to love what I'm about to say. Not everybody needs to work out every single day of the week, especially when society still thinks of exercise as rigorous activity every single day. I do believe that you need to move your body in some capacity every single day, but it doesn't need to be cardio and heavy weight lifting every single day. Your body you're not becoming a bodybuilder or anything like that. If you are, then, you log off. But if you're just like, I need to work out for longevity and all of that, and so I don't get these diagnoses, then you need a plan. Because what will happen is this: if you don't plan out your workouts, your nutrition, all of that, right? Your sleep, your morning and night routine, this is what's going to happen, because it's happened to me personally. You're then going to be like, oh my gosh, I haven't worked out in a week, and so I got to really go hard in this workout. I got to go really hard. And then you start being really mean to yourself, right? This is on I'm recording on my DJI. I always want to say DJI, and it does that tracking thing, which makes me dizzy personally. Anyways, I turned it off. So with all of that, I really want people to start being more mindful of your family history. So my family history is I have health-wise, I have type 2 diabetes in my family. I know this because my mom was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when I was middle school, high school, okay? I remember that very vividly because she actually was having chest pain. This is all after. I didn't know this at the time. At the time, I was at school. This ages me, but I remember like cell phones just were like a thing, like texting. Let me say that texting was a thing. And I remember my mom texted me and she was like, I'm not going to be home when you get home. used to that, latchkey kid. But she was like, I should be home before you guys go to school tomorrow. And I remember being really scared because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I hope my mom's okay. Like, she said she had to go to the hospital. And she came home probably late that night. But either way, when I woke up in the morning, my mom was home. And I remember coming downstairs and she was crying at the table with all of her diabetic equipment at the table. And I remember I'm the oldest child, oldest just me and my sister. And I remember like looking at her and I was just like, I felt so helpless because I was just like, why is my mom crying? And she was crying again. Now that I'm a nurse and I understand how discharge planning works, I understand the healthcare system pretty well. She was overwhelmed because the nurses, were like, okay, because this is also the thing. Type 2 diabetes is such a common diagnosis. It should not be, if I'm going to be honest with you, but it's such a common diagnosis that as nurses, as doctors, as healthcare providers, we don't talk with the sense, we don't hold space, compassion, give grace, and really explain to the patient the severity of this diagnosis. I don't want to say that because this is what's interesting, right? And I'd love for you guys to answer this question if below or, think about it. Why is a cancer diagnosis taken more seriously than type 2 diabetes when ultimately, if you don't manage your type 2 diabetes, you can end up losing a limb, okay? So it's like, I feel like they're both as severe. So why do we kind of like just it's okay, play I'll brush it off. I'll take care of my sugar later. I'm gonna enjoy this cookie every single day, right? You can enjoy the cookie, please, but you need to, and this is where meal prep and planning your workouts and your sleep. This is where the planning comes into play so you can enjoy. I don't want you to restrict. I just want you to learn how to just be mindful. So after that, seeing that happen with my mom and her crying because she was so overwhelmed and things were probably explained, but you also have to consider this, right? And I can relate to this even now as a healthcare provider. And my son, he recently broke his wrist and he had to get a cast. And I'm a nurse, but it's still like, wait, what'd you say again? Because you're just as the mom, I'm just like, it's a lot. I'm like, I hope my son's wrist, gets back to the way it was, and it will because he's young and all of that. But in the moment when you're in a stressful situation, when a healthcare provider is explaining something to you, I don't expect you to remember everything that they said. Yes, they give you the paperwork that explains, but then you're like, but wait, why did they say I have to check my sugar before meals or before I go to bed? I don't remember. And like, how do I charge the device to check my sugar, and how many Lancets do I need? I forget. Where do I get the Lancets? Does my insurance cover? It's like once you're home in the safety of your home, you start thinking all of this. And so I say that to say that give yourself grace. And that's why I'm creating this library of wellness resources for you, because it's completely understandable that you probably don't remember everything and all of that. So type 2 diabetes needs to be taken very seriously. And that was the reason I became a nurse, was after my mom's diagnosis. And also my parents were like, go to nursing school, you'll have a good life like that, right? And hindsight is 2020. They were right, because now here I am a nurse, but I'm able to be more than that, if you will. Like, the nurse is like the foundation of everything I do. I'm a healthcare advocate through everything that I do, right? Through my business, through the way that I move in this world. But, okay, pause. I have no script, right? If you go back and look, please binge my videos, get my watch time up. I used to have a script. Lately, I'm just I'm speaking off the cuff. But after becoming a nurse, those first few years was so hard, y'all. It was so hard, but I learned and I'm learning so much just of how people take information, how people learn, right? And also the biggest thing is really wanting to know, why do people wait till the diagnosis? And that's why I created my business and my platform because I truly believe that I can help you. I can help you minimize your chances. I can't guarantee, but I can help you minimize your chances of getting that diagnosis. So maybe you are at the point in your life where the doctor did tell you have prediabetes, right? So the reason that the doctor says you have prediabetes is because your hemoglobin A1C, which is a lab that you can get done within blood work, is elevated, meaning it's greater than 6%. Typically, okay? You want that hemoglobin A1C less than 6%. If it is greater, I've seen hemoglobin A1C 10. 10! And like I told you, hemoglobin A1C, we want it less than 6, okay? Sometimes they even less than 5. It just depends on the provider, but less than 6, right? And if you are watching this video and you're like, yeah, like they told me I have prediabetes, but like they said, just diet and exercise. I had been told I had prediabetes, which makes sense because of my mom. Because I think my hemoglobin A1C was like a year or so ago. Maybe it was like 5.6. It was pushing 6. And so they were concerned because of my family history. And I remember the nurse practitioner called me and she was like, yeah, all your labs are great except the hemoglobin A1C. It's slightly elevated, about 5.6. She was like, but just diet and exercise. We'll circle back in 3 months. Because with hemoglobin A1C, how that lab, my camera's about to die. It's always the joke. Something's always about to die. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. Okay. Are we charging? Are we charging? Are we charging? Okay, we're charging. I'm going to put my desk down. Oh, I still need to do that video. I have a standing desk. We talk about random things. This is mainly about type 2 diabetes, but I record every day, so of course my camera's gonna die. I can't be brand new every day. I have pimple patches on my face. Okay, so every 3 months, if you are at risk for diabetes, I'm gonna drink some coffee. At risk for type 2. I'm solely talking about type 2 diabetes because type 1 diabetes, that one is typically like that one is also genetic, but it's not modifiable. You can't prevent it. That one is just the draw the cards. Like, it's just in your family, type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes typically happens, one, yes, because of a family history, but also because of your lifestyle. So changing your lifestyle, meaning incorporating exercise, eating nutritious meals, getting adequate sleep, doing yoga. These things are lifestyle changes that can help lower your hemoglobin A1C. So like I was saying, every 3 months you will get this blood work done because that is the turnover, if you will, because hemoglobin A1C, what does that mean? The hemoglobin is referring to your red blood cells, okay? So your red blood cells that float throughout your body to provide oxygen, they look like little floaties. Like, you have those floaties, the little floaties in the pool. That's how they look. And every 3 months they turn over, if you will. They refresh, and that is an indicator of that is your hemoglobin A1C. Okay, so every 3 months you get a fresh start, if you will. So, and that's also the reason why my program is 3 months, because I can help you. Again, this is no guarantee, but I can help you incorporate. I'm going to teach you lifestyle changes, right? Diet, exercise, nutrition, sleep, all of that. So then over the course of 90 days, we can ideally go from you have a hemoglobin of 6 to maybe we can go down to 5.6. Do you see where I'm going? It might not seem like a significant change, but when I tell you over time, and that's why I understand why preventative health kind of gets a bad rap, because people we don't want to do things. I feel like it is just human behavior. We don't want to do things until something bad happens. We're like, we're fine. And you get so caught up in other things. And also you're just like, I don't want to face myself. And there's all that internal work too. And you're like, dang, why am I just like my mom? There's all these, it's like all of that. where you're like, I ain't gonna worry about that right now. I don't have the time. But I'm here to tell you that if you don't have the time now, your health is going to rear its head eventually, and you're going to have to figure out how to make the time. Okay, like you're gonna have to figure out how to make the time, and that is where I'm getting better of making my point of why preventative health will save you. I really believe, like, this is my shtick on this corner of the internet. Preventative health will save you thousands upon thousands of dollars, because I'm here to tell you, you go to the doctor, and if you don't have insurance, you're spending $500 to $600 for a doctor visit, right? And some of the time, they don't even feel like they're doing anything. There's like a fly. It doesn't even feel like they're doing anything for you. And I really want to dig at that question, that statement, because people be like, man, I went to the doctor and they didn't do anything. Before you go to your doctor, right? There is a fly. Before you go to your doctor, dependent on the appointment, I'll give you my son because that's just top of mind right now, right? My son broke his wrist. So I took him to urgent care. That's a separate, I have actually a video too of like going to urgent care versus the emergency room, because it will save you thousands of dollars if you go to the urgent care versus the emergency room. So I took him to urgent care because it wasn't life-threatening, but it was an urgent need. His wrist, I was pretty sure, was most likely broken, and I needed to get an x-ray, and urgent cares have x-ray machines. So I brought him there. That was like Tuesday night or Wednesday night, right? I think it was Tuesday night. And long story, what am I getting at with this? Oh, so because of my nurse background, I knew, okay, he's going to have to follow up with a pediatric orthopedic doctor. That's a kid bone doctor, right? And I knew, because it's a specialist appointment, and just so you know, specialist appointments can be months upon months booked out. But because he broke something, he was able to be seen within a week to get the cast. So he got the cast a couple of days ago. Before that appointment to see the orthopedic, I was like, I need to make sure that they have the x-ray images, because if they don't have those x-ray images, we'll go to the appointment and then they'll be like, well, we don't have the x-ray, right? And obviously, because it's an orthopedic place and he's a kid, I feel like they treat kids better. If I'm not gonna, like regularly, this sounds really bad, but I feel like kids, they're like, oh my God, it's a kid. We don't want to have further damage for the rest of his life, whatever. So, he could have got the x-ray done there. But what I'm getting at is this. Before you go to your doctor, you need to have like a list of questions, right? So if you're having concerns of saying, hey, for example, you're in perimenopause and you're like, I'm having insomnia, right? And you're like, I just don't know why I can't go to sleep, like whatever. You can also like talk with me, if I'm going to be honest with you, and work through my program, and we could probably get to the root of what are your habits, because a lot of these things, people think that doctors are magicians, and they are not. Doctors, if you have a good doctor and you have a good healthcare team, because it's not just one doctor, you need a team of people to support you on your healthcare journey. People think doctors are magicians, so they just go to the appointment not prepared. And this is no shade at all. This is why I'm here to provide this information. You need to bring a little notebook, right? So I got this little notebook and pen to paper, and you need to say like, I'm having insomnia, right? And also, if you know, okay, I go to my doctor once a year, right? Those months before, you need to be like, and this sounds weird, but you need to make sure you're exercising, eating well, sleeping well, because you're going to have to get blood work done. And you want that blood, that's your report card. That's your report card to show your doctor how well you're doing, right? So going back to the insomnia, if you're like, I'm having insomnia and I don't know why, I'm asking you this. What are your habits? What does your nighttime and morning routine look like, right? And if you're like, girl, I don't got one. I just wake up and I'm just ripping and running. I'm just ripping and running. And I get it. Trust me, I do. But you need to, before you go to that doctor and be like, they didn't do anything for me. I need you to start taking care of you, doing the things that you have control over. You have control of when you go to bed. You have control of when you shut that phone off. You have control of when you eat. You have control of when you drink your water. You. There's nobody else to blame. And I know, like, oh, the food, living in this country, la. But I bet you, if you do choose to leave this country, to each his own, your habits are still going to be the same. Do you see? Your habits are still going to be the same no matter where you're placed in the world. Okay? And so that's tough love right there. You really got to get those habits down. And that is all of what my 12-week health program is about. It's about habits. It's learning how to break those bad habits and create good habits, good health habits that sustain. That is my default. My health program is my default. So anytime, which a couple of days ago, I was very low energy. You can go look at that video. I was very low energy, right? And there was multiple reasons as to why, right? New job. I hadn't worked. I think that was the first time I worked out in over a week because I was having some issues with my back because I pulled my back because I was working out, right? I was going a little too hard. But I know based on what I do in my health program, how I can support myself and what to go back to. I have a default setting. So my question I leave you with is this. Do you have a default setting? Because if you do not have a default setting, you are going to end up with going back to those 3 diagnoses, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or hyperlipidemia, which is just a fancy way to say high cholesterol. Do not take these diagnoses lightly. If you do not manage these diagnoses lightly, they will end up in things such as kidney failure. Your kidneys stop working. You're not peeing as much, which then ends up in you being septic, which is an infection all throughout your body where your organs just shut down. When your organs shut down, you die. Okay? That's to call a thing. Okay? But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. I know. So if you need support, click the link down below. I got you. I don't just talk. I actually have built wellness for you, wellness tools for you, okay? So I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. All right, bye for now.